Enzo's here again, and I'm back with even more Dwarf Fortress. Last time we explored the 3 different caverns, made sure that we now have a view of everything that there is in these caverns. And now there are some more projects inside the fortress to do. The 3 that come to mind are the long overdue underground wood farm that I have been meaning to build for a very long time, but still haven't. The second one is something that I didn't think I had to for a while. It's a jail for the justice system. Because I thought for a very long time that as long as I have happy dwarves, there's nothing that happens in there. But there is. And I'm surprised by it. I have never truly interacted with that. I've never even made a captain of the guard or a dungeon master, which is like the 2 noble positions you'd have to appoint for that. And I guess I'm going to do that at some point. I'm unsure which of the 3 projects I'm going to do first. And then the third project is making a library, which I do have a lot of reading material saved up from the caravans that I bought over the time, but I haven't made a library yet. So yeah, I'm going to deliberate on which I'm going to do first of these 3 projects, and I guess you're going to find out in a second. It seems like I have decided to start with making a jail. For that I have now made a quarters for the dungeon master, as well as the captain of the guard, which the dungeon master is probably the guy who has to take care of the prisoners, and the captain of the guard is probably the guy who has to play detective and get them. He's probably also the guy who will be interrogating people that I can click here on, I guess. And then I have made I have planned out a small prison cell block down here. The idea is to essentially have a chain in the middle that gives the dwarves a one length that they can go around, and if they are too dangerous or a werewolf or a vampire or whatever, I can just close it up again. I have left 2 space in between, the same as between the quarters. I just realized I just made the cells just as big as the quarters. I guess they're not getting the same amenities. Anyway, I made it too wide from every other wall so that I can make constructed walls around and then also engrave them. In the wiki it said it is good to have something for them to look at, so engravings or a really good or a really well made chain. For that I have given my best metalsmith the order to make steel chains. I have actually checked in with the wiki. It is made with 1 steel ingot, and when it is melted, it also produces 1 steel ingot again. So I can just make lots of steel chains until I have enough to... Until I have 12 masterworks, I guess, because I'm making 12 cells. So yeah, that's the current plan. Let's see how it goes. So I have now completed digging out and constructing the walls and the flooring of my jail cell, as well as the, let's call it the living area of the sheriff and the dungeon master. That should be enough for them, I believe. So now I'm just waiting for masterwork chains to be done, and that might take a while. Oh no, it started coming through. I guess now with this metalsmith constantly using his metal crafting skill, he got now a high enough level that he slowly produces steel chains. That's nice. Okay, anyway, now I have a bit of time to do another project. And I guess I can do some more digging, you know? I am not quite sure how I want to make the tree growing area, but the concept should be really simple. We have an area that will then be three levels tall. That's essentially the tallest tree I have seen around here. It's like 3 and then there's nothing beyond that. Trees might be able to go to 4. I don't actually know. What about the surface? I should check that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then the 4th one is usually really small leaf things. So 3 should be more than enough. And as you have seen, there will then be a water line going from the big water thing, which is now slowly draining because I need access to it, and for that all of this has to be drained. Thankfully the well doesn't have to be drained as well. That can just stay full. Yeah, and then once I have the design in a way that it is not too large but also not too small. Oh yeah, I probably should say why I'm doing multiple smaller areas instead of one big one. Essentially, I have tried it once before with like a really large area, probably around this large, probably more like this. And the problem was that essentially when you get water to essentially muddy the floor and then something grows there like it does here. You see here that's like the fungi flooring and stuff down here. Every time that happens, a tree can grow. Like here you can see a dead young tower cap. If there was like enough space around it and above it, this would have become a tower cap tree, as long as nothing would be like trampling above it, on top of it or something like that. And if you cut the tree down, it is the same as if you'd have placed a wall there and put it away. Actually, no, it wouldn't be the same, because when you do that, then what remains behind is still a sand cavern floor. But what removing a tree does, or maybe it's a growing tree, essentially once you cut down the tree, the flooring will be just a normal cavern floor again. So yeah, to not then have to kill a lot of saplings by reflooding a big area, I prefer to, or at least I want to test out with this build, lots of smaller areas. Yeah, now I just have to design it in a fashion that pleases me. While I was planning out the underground tree farm, my metal crafter finished all the masterwork steel chains. So now I have put the dungeon here. So now I just have to decide for captain of the guard. I guess I'm pretty sure he doesn't have anything else to do, in a dungeon master as well. So you can see none of my dwarves have any skills that are needed for that. I don't want to have the same guy twice for that. So maybe Ubul. Let me pause and check. Which ones are they? Melbil, Urist, and Ubul. Okay. Melbil. He doesn't have anything else, it seems like. And the other guy was Ubul. It's this guy. He also doesn't have other jobs to do. Okay. Maybe check personality. If he sends for music and little patience, I guess that's okay for, maybe even typical for a dungeon master. What about Melville? Captain of the Guard. What are your personalities? She has an astonishing ability with languages and words, a great memory, a sum of patience, and a good kinesthetic sense. But she has quite poor focus and very bad intuition. All the good stuff makes like really sense for a captain of the guard who has to investigate stuff. But having a sum of patience but also poor focus at the same time is kind of funny, because that means she can wait a lot but she cannot focus on stuff. I guess we're going to see how this is going to play out for those two. Anyway, I can now open these two up again. There were lots of people who were like eating in the offices, probably because they're like really close. And because, yeah. Anyway, they should now come in here. Yeah. And now I guess... Well, I don't know about cold cases, if there's anything that I should be doing, especially... Well, injured party, a brewer? I guess all the convicts are slowly going to get put into the prison, maybe? I mean, if I figure out what is going to happen with this, I'm going to make another clip for you to watch. But until then, I'm going to continue with my planning for the underground tree farm. Oh, someone is coming. Huh. I guess... Okay. Humiliated after being confined. Interested near completely sublime restraint. Okay, so that is something good to have. Masterwork chains. Huh. So as I said, if there's anything that comes up with the dungeon, I am going to make another clip for you guys to watch. A small update. I just realized they use water to transport... Well, no, sorry. They use buckets to transport water near the prisoner so they can then drink and don't die because of thirst. So I'm just going to quickly make some more wooden buckets. 10 should be enough, I guess. Yeah, more wooden buckets, I guess. Yeah, that is something I noticed that I think people should know about for dungeons. I guess having the fix dry buckets command is somewhat important for this, because otherwise lots of buckets will bug out because they will be filled but they're not used. Yeah. Okay, I have now decided on my little setup here for the wood farm. So essentially the long hallway as before. Oh, another forgotten beast. Zombie Hydra. Okay. Let's look for the zombie Hydra instead. Okay. Okay, I guess that's a zombie Hydra. Let me just quickly check for my defenses. The main way is not open. This way is open, so the zombie Hydra will just get in a cage trap. And if not, I probably have enough time to man my ballistas again. Anyway, while the game is now still paused, let me just explain to you my setup. Long hallways, small, well, relatively small rooms for the trees to grow. It's essentially a 13 by 13 with the 3 corner pieces taken away from each corner. There's a 3 wide entrance, mostly because I want to have a difference or a change between constructed walls, which will be around here, to natural walls, which will be around here. I might also put something like this in here. You know what? I'm just putting this in real quick. There will be 2 levers here on each of those entries. And that is for the water inlay. Because the water comes obviously from here. Then it will get into a room here. There will be 1 bridge here, 1 bridge here. And then I can close this off or this off and then decide to flood the area essentially. I also obviously have to make a drain, which I really shouldn't forget. Let me just quickly put it in. There. That way I won't forget to make the drain. And it's essentially very similar to the obsidian maker I have, where the ground is here or will be here. It's usually filled with magma, which then turns into obsidian, but it's the same process essentially for the water, where we have a long room instead of a wide room as we have it with the wood farm. Water goes in, gets stored here, and once I want to flood the area, I can open the entry into the area. Very simple design. Yeah. And obviously the room will then be 3 high. I have thought that I'm just going to start digging from here, and then I can go from this tile here and just go 1 higher and dig it out up here. But I should probably start here so my dwarves don't have to walk all the way up here and through the no, not up here, 1 further, and from here into the waterways and then down here, and then yeah, that seems too long of a path for them to take. I'm just going to quickly dig here and then get up here. I'll have to think about that again. Anyway, that is my plan for now for the wood farm. Quick info, the zombie hydra got caught easily in a cage trap. Nothing interesting there, sadly. Also, another short info here is the way I'm digging up here. So essentially I'm going here. Then I have made a dig ramp here, which also opens up the next one. And here another dig ramp for the next layer. And then up here I am going to dig a channel for this one. And then once this layer is done, I can do the same thing for this layer. And then I can do a normal mine for this layer. Yeah. A very simple way to dig up, and then from the top down. So with the reason behind that is if I'd be normal mining every layer here, then at some point, if I don't want to wait, there will be a lot of boulders up here, and every time I'd dig a channel, they would fall down a layer, and because they are heavy, they do a lot of damage to stuff below it. And more often than not, they will also move around a lot. And with that, a lot of dwarves are at a lot of risk that way. And the way I am doing it now, I'm minimizing the risk. Yeah. Everything seems to be working well. And I guess I'm going to give you an update when maybe this is done. I don't know. So, apparently they cannot mine up here, but they could with this ramp here. I am going to try to just wait. Yeah, it's slope upwards. Sorry. That was the wrong button. We want this one. This one goes up. This one goes down. This one goes up. What should happen is that they have access to up here, but I guess they don't. Maybe try this one here. Maybe this will work once this one is dug up. Nope. Still nothing. This is weird. I guess I'm going to have to experiment and how to get up here and mine this part out. I am such a moron. They could always reach here. But I had the burrow active. And as you can see, the burrow is here, but not up here. Yeah, that one was totally on me, and you can even see me trying different things, like making a stairway up with like either making a getting the stairway dug out or making a stairway when before I have essentially dug up with the ramp building tool and then removed the ramps. But oh my god, now I have to remove all of this. And well, at least I only experimented with this one, that way the other two boxes will be normal. But yeah, for anyone watching, always check your burrows. Always check them. For me, I'm just going to add this part to the burrow. It's going to make it easier. Yeah. Could have been avoided if I had been a bit smarter. But anyway. Check your burrows. Check your burrows. I have made now enough progress that the water storage chambers, another fail mood, the water storage rooms are done, so I believe I can start putting the waterways to work again, essentially filling them with water again. I believe, yeah, I have forbidden the hatch. I hope everything works as it is supposed to. Let's get these two again. I always have to remember that I have to get the water out thing closed again, because otherwise all the water would just go down here and go away again. But anyway, water goes in and it should flow here and then fill these rooms and not go into my base. As you can see, now finally, after all of the other stuff has filled up, the water is slowly coming down here. And here, the last time that it's going to be without any mud or cavern growth, I guess you could call it, lichen floor and all the different types of grown floors. So essentially, water goes in to the room, then I can open this one here to flood all of this. Yeah. And then obviously there's also a drain. I hope it works just as I intended and I don't have to make these rooms any bigger, because I'd then have to like, yeah, it would be pretty bad if I'd have to, if I cannot talk, if I'd have to make any changes to this part here. Here's something I didn't know. if you have a closed hatch, a tree can still grow through it. Well, I guess it's going to get felled. So that's that's my first underground tree in an enclosed area made by myself that's going to get oh. That's not good. Well, at least he closed the door fast enough. I am going to have to fix that, don't I? I guess I can just remove all the hatches here and replace them with floors. God, it's going to take such a long time. At the very least, this is done right here. And I closed those things off. But anyway, I have to close the water in and I have to make the water go out again. And I'll be back once I fix all of this. Damn it. I really hope it doesn't, or it won't flood over into the other areas. It shouldn't, but I really hope it doesn't. I mean, if it does, I'm just going to give you an update for that. I've thought about it for a bit, and I'm just going to open these floodgates here right now. That way, everything is going to be muddy, and every tick I'm going to wait to open these floodgates to muddy all of the space here is going to be a time that is going to take longer for me to get my underground trees going. Oh, because they started up? Please tell me that works. Oh no, I just put the wrong lever. Okay. I just put the wrong lever. It's the bottom one. For a moment I thought they hadn't connected the stuff. No. Okay, it goes down. It's pretty quick because there's a large opening and everything is getting filled. Okay, so for next time I can even make it half this size and everything will get filled. That's good to know. The drain works as intended. Yeah. Obviously, there's always the hope that no one goes through these doors. You know what? I'm just going to make this right here as a very low priority zone. I mean, the only person that ever has to go in here is the guy that's cutting down the trees. But yeah, yeah, what I learned essentially is don't use hatches, use bridges. And then use the bridge like one before, so similar to this here. And I guess these things can now be closed again. And the other ones can be opened again. Yeah. I'm just waiting for all of this to be drained, which obviously will take a while, but yeah, what can you do? And now I'm in FPS hell because we have 15 frames per second because of all this fire. Is he just on fire or what is happening? Health. A huge humanoid composed of flame. Yeah. That would bring a lot of fire around. God. At least at some point everything will be burned and then the flame thing won't be as bad anymore. Or at least that's the hope. Maybe another Forgotten Beast will attack? Damn it. This is going to take so long until the fire has burned everything else that can be burned. Time to wait. That fire burned itself out faster than I thought. But anyway, now I can do stuff again. It's just that sometimes FPS drops by a bit because of this. Maybe I should make a priority thing and just eliminate it? Oh no. Ah, good, everything burned. Is already burned up here. That's good. Yeah, I'm probably just going to man the stations and end this FPS hell. Damn, that sneaky bugger right here was waiting in the stairway. At least I already have, like, most of my dwarves are already in position, so that should be easy enough. Wait until it goes through here, and then here I can just quickly let them do some target practice. Make sure no dwarf stands in the way. Ah, its ability to stand is already lost. Okay. Okay, I think this one is as damaged as it can be. And there's a second one. Why does it go down here? Oh, it wants to defeat this one. So it's flying down here. Or maybe not. Okay, I'm going to have to do something about that. Now I have at least one more thing I have to do. I guess all of these can go home now because the flying Forgotten Beast did its best to circumvent my trap. Machine gun fire is still as effective as ever. I hope it also works on the fire one. Yeah, good. Okay, now at least FPS will be normal again. To prevent any other flying monsters to circumvent this trap by going down here, I'm just going to put 2 steel bridges in here, and I'm going to link it to the same lever as this one. So that way, whenever this bridge is up and prevents access into my fort, these 2 will prevent access from one corridor to the other through this shortcut, essentially. As I said before, I'm going to remove all the hatches here, and instead I'm going to install flooring. Let's just make it gabbro. And then once all the work has been done, no trees can grow through the floor anymore. Yeah. After I repaired all of that and got all of the flooring in place above so that no more trees could grow and take out the hatch, I also decided to quickly remove all the mud from these spaces, except where there is no sand floor yet. So yeah, the 2 where the nest boxes were, I had to re-water those 2, which was annoying. Now I'm just waiting for there to grow something, and obviously where the tree grew, there's also still a, as you can read up here, there's still a muddy gap gabbro cavern floor instead of like a sand cavern floor or a sparse floor fungus or underlichen or cave moss. As for the area here, it is also slowly getting some growth in there. I'm not sure if that tunnel tube here can even grow so close to the wall. But then again, if we go to the trapped beasts, forgotten beasts down here, you can also already see that the trees can grow with like walls on two sides. So maybe it can grow. Who knows? But yeah, for the tree farm, the wood farm, whatever you want to call it, that's now a waiting game. At the very least, I still have a lot of wood left over from, well, what do I mean left over? I just bought a lot from the caravan every time it comes. It's been a while since my last update. I think it's been about 2 in-game years. I don't actually remember when the last time was. It's been a few days actually in reality as well, because well, I had stuff to do. And yeah, but I finally finished setting up my production line for rocknut oil, which I'm quite happy about, because there were quite a few things I got stuck on. So let me take you through the production line. It all starts out with you having rocknuts. You usually get a few of them at the embark, but yeah, then you plant them and you plant them for quarry bushes. They are plantable in spring, summer, and autumn, but not winter. In the beginning, I had them be planted in all 3 possible seasons. Right now, I'm only doing it for the summer season. I did all 3 seasons in the beginning, mostly to fill up the stockpiles, so that I had a lot of it. So yeah, when you finally take the quarry bushes and they get farmed, you don't get rock nuts back. Instead, you get quarry bushes. And just like strawberries, they have a work order at the farmer's workshop that you have to take them to, which is called Process Plant to Bag. The work order condition I have set up like this, which is amount of rock nuts, which is the material seed, and the type is a seed, and the material is rock nuts. Did I have an adjective in here? No, good. Okay, so obviously if we don't want to get too many rock nuts, because this is now a game thing, there's a limit on 200 rock nuts that can be on the map at the same time. Anything above that just doesn't come out. So at some point I'd just be wasting quarry bushes. And then obviously amount of unrotten quarry bushes. That is because we want to have enough to actually have the process be done 10 times and I don't get a million cancel orders. Cancel notifications, not orders. Quarry bushes come in the maximum stack size of 5, which means if I want the order to be done 10 times, I have to have at most 50 of those. That's why amount of unrotten quarry bushes, which is amount of unrotten bag processable plants. You can take this one here and then change the material to quarry bush plant. Let me click on it so that you see it. So yeah, that's how you make this work order condition. Yeah, and out of that come 2 things. One are the rock nuts, which you can then plant again, and the second thing is a high quality food item called quarry bush leaves. You can just put them into your food stockpile and use them then for in the kitchen to make more prepared meals. It is high value, and as such it is good for your dwarves because they get happier with more high value when they eat more high value prepared meals. So yeah, then the rock nuts can also be used at the millstone with mill seeds / nuts to paste. Something to note is if you do not want a million cancel orders, make it so that only one millstone will be used and not just any shop. You can do that by going to one of the millstones and then go into the work orders here and make the work order in here. That way only this millstone can be used. Yeah. The reason why you don't want all your millstones to be used is because most of the time you only have one bag of rock nuts, and if then all 3 of them have the work order mill seeds / nuts to paste, then one dwarf will take the seeds and the other 2 will be like, there are no more rock nuts around, we cannot do our task. And then you get the cancel notification. Yeah, the work order conditions for that are rock nuts. See the plural, that is the actual seeds. Just the same thing as before. Type seed, material, rock nut. And you want it to be greater than 100. That way you have at least 90 rock nuts that won't be touched by this order, which is enough to replant. You can probably get away with like 50 or something like that, but 100 just lets you be totally safe. And then there's rock nut, which is what is shown here as a descriptor for what comes out. In reality, it is just the glob with rock nut. And what is actually meant with that is that it counts what is down here, rock nut paste. If there is a more specific condition thing that you can check for instead of type glob material rock nut, I don't know it. But yeah, that is what you get out of milling rock nuts. It is a food item that can be eaten. As such, if you store it somewhere close here, instead of far away behind the prepared meals, many dwarves around here will just go to the glob, the rock nut paste, and eat that instead of the instead of the prepared meals, and get less happy thoughts, maybe even negative thoughts if they don't, if they dislike eating something that is not a prepared meal. Yeah, the rock nut paste can then be taken to a screw press, which then has the work order press liquid from paste. For that you need not just the, what is it called, the rock nut paste, but also jugs. And out comes then the jug full of rock nut oil, as well as rock nut press cake, I believe, if I can find it. Yeah, rock nut press cake, which is then again a food item. Yeah, and that is the whole thing. Let me just quickly go to and show you the conditions for press liquid from paste. Again, I have only I'm only letting it use one of the screw presses. You can probably just let it use any shop. I just have it that way. I don't even know why anymore. Probably because for a while I only had one barrel filled with the rock nut paste, but so much of that fits into... so much of the rock nut paste fits into one barrel that more often than not you will only have one barrel, so it is the same problem as using all 3 millstones. Yeah, okay, that was the reason. And for the work order conditions, amount of rock nut paste, again the material is the type is the glob and the material is rock nut. You want to have it greater than 50 because it uses 1 stack, I believe, and the maximum stack is 5. It might even be that it has to be a 5 stack, but I'm not sure about that. And The second condition is rock nut oil, which is type liquid material rock nut oil. Yeah. And yeah, that is my whole production line for getting rock nut oil, which will make oh yeah, one more thing. Rock nut oil will be stored in jugs, and jugs can be put into bins, but when you have a bin that is mixed with filled jugs and unfilled jugs, it can get a bit messy with them hauling this should be glass tools. Tool glass. It can get a bit messy with transporting the filled jugs to a oil stockpile or something like that. So yeah, be a bit careful about that, I guess. This required me to do a lot of fiddling with stockpiles, which is also why I have so many empty jugs, even though at maximum there should only be 30. But because I had lots of jugs always taken away and not be able to be counted among the countable jugs, then there would be more jugs being made. Anyway, I got the production line down now, and you have something to look all the work conditions over so that it actually works. And yeah, just remember the oil will be in jugs, not in barrels. I tried to get them to put it into barrels. I haven't figured out how, if it is at all possible. As you can see in the general stockpile, there's a lot of wooden logs to be more specific. And that's why I have decided to make a quantum stockpile for all the wood. And then I'm also going to remove, or I already removed the carpenter down here, because I have now also placed it directly next to the quantum wood stockpile. Yeah, as a mini update, that was one of the easier things to do. While I was planning out my soap production some more, and I was reading the wiki, in the wiki about soap, there's a subtitle called work orders, and it says here there is also a complication with seed oil soap automation, where both seed paste, pressed for oil, and seed press cake, food byproduct of oil pressing, use a non-specific glob type classification in work order conditions. This means that seed paste will not be triggered for production in a mill/quern until seed press cake stock is also consumed. So what that means, as far as I can tell, is that in the... was it press liquid, I believe? Yeah, then the amount of rock nut, which is type glob material rock nut, it counts both the rock nut paste as well as the press cake, if I can find it. Yeah, the rock nut press cake. And because I am always overfilled with food items, that means I have a hard time getting rid of that, which means the whole automation process I try to do will essentially not work. So yeah, I can just get rid of all the rock nut production. Well, not all of it. I'm going to keep the process plant 2 back, and I'm going to... well, it doesn't have the plant. Well, wait, is it a plant? Wait, no, it's leaf. It's, let's check. It's curry bush leaves. Yeah. How many do I have? So I can check. Okay, I have 3380. And if I go process plant to bag items, let's check plants first. Curry bush leaves. Yeah, we have definitely more than 10. So less than 10 should not be fulfilled. What about cookable? Nope, that doesn't change anything either. Okay, so I think it is leaves and fruit. Yeah, I knew that was there. Berry bush leaf. Maybe with cookable? Yeah, and then 3380 should still be saying no, but 3381 and it says satisfied. Okay. And we don't want more than 500, to be honest. That's like more than enough of those. I might even not use them because, as you can see here, the the query bush leaf food items, and they are so high in stacks that they don't even fit in a barrel, apparently. Or at least they're just here without a barrel, even though there are empty barrels all around. Yeah. And then obviously I have to delete the to paste thing and the press liquid from paste thing. And then I can also delete the green glass jugs. Yeah. I mean, it happens that you have to scrap a whole thing. Not necessarily the best feeling, to be honest. But yeah. Instead, I am just going to use tallow as everyone else is using. Especially now that I have sheep as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's my quick update for now. And I guess I have to remove the stockpiles and stuff. I'm not going to do that while recording. Yeah, it's sad, but it happens. Okay, now my soap is automated, the production of it. Very simple. We have the wood up here as before in this nice quantum stockpile. At the wood furnace, it is made into ash, put into this stockpile. Then it goes to the ashery. It is made into lime. Lime? No, it is made into lye, not lime. Different things. Then it is put into this stockpile, and then the tallow from down here. And the lye will be made into soaps here. As for the work orders, make ash. I have just used the suggested conditions of ash and logs. Logs I have put to 100. Ash I have left at 10. I have put the work order from making 10 at a time to 5. Lye, I have put amount of lye, amount of ash, amount of empty buckets. What should be noted though is that amount of lye should be liquid and the material, I believe, should be lye, because the usual suggested condition, I believe, uses lye containing items instead, which then means, as an example, this barrel right here would count as one, and this one as a second one, and not as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are in here, plus the 3 that are in here. But though I am unsure if it is this suggested condition or only here. Yeah, okay. So in make lye, the suggested condition is the correct one, it seems like. But in make soap from tallow, it also has a suggested condition for lye, but it's amount of lye containing items, which I have just put in, changed to the one from make lye, which is liquid, type liquid material lye. Another one is this doesn't have a suggested condition for soap bars. For that, you just make amount of bars. But if you go into material and then say soap, it only has the specific soaps for all the different soaps you can make. So instead, you go into adjective and then they say soap item. That way you get soap bars, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, besides that, amount of unrotten tallow, fatty glob. I think that works. At least the wiki hasn't said anything about it. Yeah, and then I also decided to just automate charcoal making, so I always have like 20 refined coal, I guess, for making steel and pig iron and stuff. What is interesting though, what you should note though, is that I have put the amount of logs here to greater than 200 and for the ash greater than 100. That way I always have like logs for making bins and barrels and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that was my soap making adventure. I started out this video with wanting to make two things. One is a jail, which I did create, as you can see. Already explained about it. Then I got distracted by making new work orders, wanting to make one more, essentially making soap, but also getting distracted by the whole rock nut farming thing and so on, which didn't work out as I wished, but whatever. But I also wanted to make a library, and that's what I did. So now here is a library, which also means all the... Yeah. What the... Oh! You know what I forgot? I forgot to put... No? Why are they going here? Is that like... Are they allowed to? I guess they are. Anyway, there were a lot of books and... books not, but scrolls in here because none of my stockpiles could take them, and I don't know... I still don't know in what kind of stockpile scrolls belong, but now they're all stored in the library. Lots of books. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it still cannot fill the whole library, which is funny. Like so many and still not enough. But I guess a single bookcase can have a lot of texts. Anyway, if you have managed to watch this far, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I hope I'm getting the next video out a bit quicker than this one. I just had a lot of different stuff coming up in between. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.